What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the 4-4 YouTube channel. Welcome back to another matchups video where I, Hutchinson, deliver you matchups that I love, hate, or just want to talk about in fantasy football for this week. Before I get in this video, I'd appreciate if you were subscribed to this YouTube channel and click that little notification bell so you'll be notified every single time a new video drops. And check out the 4-4 website, 44.com/plans. On this plans page, there's going to be tons of bonus premium content that you can sign up for. When you sign up for a plan that's going to help you win your fantasy football league, use the code YouTube when signing up. Again, use the code YouTube, all caps YouTube, when signing up for 25% off your plan. Doesn't matter what plan you choose, get 25% off using the code YouTube. And without further ado, let's get in this video. Remember, this is matchups that I love, hate, or just want to talk about for fantasy football this week. The first one, we're going to start with a little bit of a negative matchup. I don't really like Jordan Addison this week. I want to put him on my bench if I can. With Justin Jefferson returning, this unlocks an entire box of question marks here. We just don't know what's going to happen here with Jordan Addison. I'm really concerned about what we're going to see this week. Even without Justin Jefferson there, with Joshua Dobbs playing, Jordan Addison's been inconsistent for fantasy football over the last 4 weeks, and Joshua Dobbs been able to put together 208 yards per game. And while that's solid, when you have Justin Jefferson, TJ Hutchinson, and Jordan Addison in the same NFL offense, 208 yards is not going to get it done. That's just not going to be able to be enough to supply these three fantasy relevance every single week. It's just not going to happen. And if one of these three guys is going to suffer, Hutchinson and Dobbs have shown a ridiculously good relationship over the last handful of weeks. Justin Jefferson is a monster alpha wide receiver. I think Jordan Addison's going to be the odd man out here. He's talented. He's clearly shown some talent, and he's a first-round pick, but I think he's going to be the odd man out here, especially this week against a matchup of the Raiders, who are really good when you look at defense against the wide receiver position. Their secondary has been pretty good at defending wide receivers. They allow the 22nd most fantasy points to wide receivers this year. That's a pretty good number. So if you can bench Jordan Addison this week, I would try to. Some people may be forced into it, but I think benching Jordan Addison is a good choice this week. So looking at the running back position, I'm going to be starting A.J. Dillon if Aaron Jones is out. We're going to Monday Night Football with the Packers and the Giants. If Aaron Jones is out, you can absolutely start A.J. Dillon, because when Aaron Jones is out, A.J. Dillon gets the volume. And against a Giants team in New York where it's going to be really cold and it's going to be hard to tackle a big man like A.J. Dillon, he's going to get the rock and he's going to do pretty well with it. So A.J. Dillon, somebody you can absolutely start in fantasy. The Giants are a terrible defense when you look at running backs and fantasy points allowed to running backs. It's just ridiculous. Everybody's able to run the Giants, especially because the Giants' offense is terrible. You're able to get a lead on them pretty quickly. And with the way Jordan Love's been playing, I expect the Packers to play with a lead in this one. They just came off a big win against Kansas City. So yeah, Dillon's got to get at least 16 plus carries, expect a couple targets if Aaron Jones is out. And that's going to be good enough to be an RB2 in fantasy. Now, if Aaron Jones is playing, A.J. Dillon will become more of a desperate flex for me. I think you can still get him, but you're relying on a touchdown. And then Aaron Jones, you can probably play as an RB2, but it's scary. So moving on, we're looking at the Colts offense now. We can start Gardner Minshew. We're starting Zach Moss. We're starting Michael Pittman. The Cincinnati defense has been terrible at pretty much all aspects of the game this year. And their offense, even with Jake Browning playing, hasn't been too bad. I mean, Jake Browning, especially last week, was playing excellent ball. And if he's able to repeat that against the Colts, this is going to be a high-scoring affair. And that means Gardner Minshew, who's thrown 40-plus pass attempts each of his last 2 weeks, Zach Moss, who's been a stud for fantasy when Jonathan Taylor's been out, and Michael Pittman, who's been a great player for fantasy all year long. All three of them are going to be fantastic starts for fantasy football. So if you have any of these three Colts, you're looking good this week. I like them all starts. All right, and then looking towards Thursday Night Football real quick to wrap up these couple starts. Zeke Elliott, you can start him because he's going to get the volume. Ramondre Stevenson's out, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are middle of the pack against the run, so Zeke, you can start. And then Diontae Johnson. Diontae Johnson's somebody you can start. Looking at the last 5 games that Mitch Trubisky has started and that Diontae Johnson has played with him, Diontae Johnson has seen 8+ targets in every single one of those games. All of them were in 2022, to be fair, none of them this year. But when Mitch Trubisky and Diontae Johnson together, it's clear that he targets Diontae Johnson. So yeah, Diontae Johnson, somebody you could start. It's a very much a floor play, not a ceiling play, because this game is going to be disgusting. If you're a Patriots fan or a Steelers fan, I'm sorry, you're not going to have fun watching this game on Thursday night. But yeah, Diontae Johnson's going to get the volume in a PPR format. He's a very safe play. All right, so let's move on here to my game of the week. I'm looking at the Eagles-Cowboys game. I mean, this is a huge game for both teams because this decides, this could be a huge factor of who wins the NFC East this year and who gets the better playoff berth this year between the Eagles and the Cowboys. And over the last 4 times these teams have played, it's split 2-2, and the total points have been so. 51 points on the board, 74 points, 43 points, and 77 points. The Eagles and the Cowboys usually get some high scoring affairs going, especially over the last few games. Both these offenses are on a roll. This is going to be a fun game. So anybody that's fantasy relevant in these offenses become must starts, especially with the Eagles saying they need to establish the run over the last week or so. I've been seeing some reports saying they want to establish the run more. That gets DeAndre Swift back in your lineups. He's been a little bit inconsistent, really on and off lately. He's been losing snaps. I would hope that if the Eagles are going to establish the run, they do it with DeAndre Swift. So you can play Swift. You can play obviously Smith, Brown, Hurts. Those guys are in your lineups. Goddard, if he's playing, is in your lineups, especially because it could be a revenge game. It's the game he got injured in last time against Dallas. So, Goddard's definitely a play. And looking at the other side of the ball, Ferguson's a must play. Dak Prescott's a great play. Pollard's a great play. Lamb is a great play. Like every relevant player in this offense you want to play for fantasy. And looking at the defensive streamers, there's two I want to talk about here. The first one's going to be the Texans defense. Derek Stingley has been on an absolute tear lately. He had 2 interceptions this past week, but over the last 3 games, he's had 4 interceptions. And the Houston Texans defense has been able to get turnovers, at least 1 in each of their last 4 games. And they play the Jets this week, who most reports show they're going to start Zach Wilson. Even though he said no, it seems like Zach Wilson's going to start and he's going to be that guy. That's going to be a disaster. Zach Wilson's going to throw at least a couple interceptions. He might get benched. I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans had 3 more interceptions in this game. So, I'm looking at the Texans as a great defensive streamer. And then the Steelers defense too. I know I said start Diontae. I know I said start Zeke Elliott as a solid play, but they're a hard-nosed physical defense and they're just going to eat the Patriots alive. I mean, this is going to be bad. They're a really, really good defense. They're going to eat the Patriots alive. I wouldn't be surprised if they got shut out again. And even so, if they get shut out, Zeke could still be relevant for fantasy. He's going to get passing volume and rushing attempts. He's going to be relevant for fantasy no matter what, even if Patriots get shut out. But that's going to be it for this video. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I appreciate you a lot. I appreciate if you would subscribe to this YouTube channel and click that little notification bell so you'll be notified every single time a new video drops on this YouTube channel. Check out the 44.com/plans, like I said earlier, and use that code YouTube when signing up for a plan to get 25% off. And also, I'd appreciate if you're following me on Twitter. I'm at HutchinsonB_FF. I'm a teenage content creator trying to make his way in the fantasy football space. So any love and support would be greatly, greatly appreciated. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week with a transactions video. Best of luck in your fantasy ball matchups this week.